Hello, I'm Dr. Amanda Lee, and I'm doing a short seminar series on some of the major concepts that we find in quantitative data analysis in nursing and healthcare research. Today's lecture is on the p-value, and I'm just going to give you a brief snapshot just to give you a very basic overview of why we use p-values and what that means in context. Hope it's okay. So we often talk about p-values in health and social care, and we have this magic number p less than 0.05 as this area of statistical significance, but it doesn't actually mean that. P just stands for probability, that something's probably happening. So in research, we often use quantitative methods. In quantitative research, we use methods which describe our data, which can infer that there's something happening, a cause and effect, or an impact, or a change, or some relationships that are going on between variables. We use quantitative methods to look at patterns, to develop and to evaluate measurement tools, different scales of assessment. We use quantitative research to predict based on things that have happened in the past. Can we use that to predict what's happening in the future? But most of all, in quantitative methodology, we're looking at the bigger picture and trying to identify what's going on and to use patterns and inferences to be able to see if there's anything that we can take from that. A p-value just tells us that our results are probably or likely to be caused by or contribute to the factor that we're studying. A p-value tells us the results of our analysis probably reflect genuine differences or some type of effect. When we're in healthcare, we set a p of 0.05. We're suggesting these findings may well be noteworthy. All p-values are set between 0, absolutely no chance of something happening, and 1, absolute certainty that something's happening because of the intervention or the measurement. This arbitrary figure of 0.05 was set by a statistician called Fisher. It was his way to suggest that the results might well be noteworthy, that probably we can expect 5% of something to happen by chance. If we suggest that 5% isn't by chance, then the p-value offers something noteworthy. So what a p-value of 0.05 or less means is that our research may well have a potential effect or may mark a genuine difference in a larger population. So looking at this chart, a p of 0.99, there's a 99% chance of something happening anyway. A p of 0.5, it's got a 50% chance of happening anyway. A p of less than 0.05, it's only got a 5% chance of it happening anyway. And this is why it probably means that there's some type of difference. So when we're plotting data, we can expect most of our subjects to be sort of in that midway. We can expect one standard deviation to be either side of the midway, and then 2 standard deviations to be either side of that midway. And it's the 1/3, 2/3 rule. What we're trying to detect here with the p-value is that things are happening outside those final green parameters there that you see in this chart, that it's absolutely less likely to be happening because of risk or chance that something's happening within the data. The most important thing to get from this lecture is that we still need to look at the research. The p-value is not all it seems. It is not absolutely everything. We've still got to ask, was the study designed properly? Did the researchers study enough people or enough variables to see what's going on in the actual research? What tools of measurement or instruments were used to be able to identify what's going on or to reveal some differences? Was there any bias on the parts of the researcher or the testing or the methods or the sampling? Anything else which could influence these findings? And here's where you come in as the clinicians, because you work in the real time, real everyday life. So the most important thing for you to think about when you do read a piece of research and you're thinking about a p-value is, what does this actually mean? What does it mean to practice? If I was on a ward and I did that, what would actually happen? And this is where you can really draw from your own experiences, your heuristics, to really impact on what you can do, what makes a change, and what you can infer from any research papers that you read. Just to conclude the whole session, I've left a lovely paper up there by Lynch, Remen and Glue, which will give you some more information on statistical significance in research. But the most important thing that I need to get across is that the p-value doesn't give us an indication of the magnitude of effect. It'll tell us that something might well be happening if the methodology is okay and the measurement tools are okay and the research seems to have been done in the right way. It can give us an indication that something is happening. But what it doesn't do is give us an indication of the magnitude of that effect. It can only tell us that there is some sort of difference in what's going on, but not necessarily how big that difference is.